Now that we've looked at ways to gather our data, we're going to look at a way to display the data as a graph. And so in section 2.3, we learn how to take a frequency histogram or a frequency distribution table and graph it. And that special type of a graph is called a histogram. Histograms are pictured in your textbook on page 55. A histogram looks like a bar graph, but the bars are connected to each other. No gaps between the bars. The horizontal axis, which is the x-axis, contains class boundaries, or midpoints. The vertical axis, or the y-axis, contains the frequencies, or counts, in each category. And the vertical bars are marked with class boundaries. On page 56 in your book, you'll see descriptions of relative frequency histograms. A relative frequency histogram looks like a regular histogram, but the vertical axis instead corresponds to percents. And so this is the type of histogram that we would do when we're asked to construct a relative frequency distribution table, like we did in section 2.2. Histograms let us really look at variation. It lets us really see a good shape of the distribution. We can determine if it's bell-shaped or if it's not. And we also can visualize any outliers, which are values that are far away from other values in the data. On this example, we're going to make a relative frequency histogram, and notice that the table is already a relative frequency distribution table. And so if you click on this video tutorial, you can either do it here on this slide, or in the section 2.3, you'll see that the video tutorial is listed separately. That might be a better idea if you would wait to do that and then finish the PowerPoint, go back and watch the video. Given that a histogram is really a graphical representation of the same data in a frequency distribution, how is a histogram better than looking at a frequency distribution table? Well, it's better because it gives you an idea of the shape of the distribution as a graph. And then it lets us determine if the distribution is normal, does it have a bell shape or not. And so if you look on page 57 in your textbook, you can see some examples of that. But make sure that you watch the video tutorial for slide number 4, because this is a test question. You'll need to know how to construct a relative frequency histogram.